about 10 o'clock. We'll get started with the final Finance Committee meeting of 2018. Item number 1 is to consider approval of the November 27 minutes. Anything there, Tamara, of any concern?
No, sir. I've reviewed the minutes, and they appear to be in order.
Good.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I second that motion. Any issues you have with it? Discussion?
Sir.
All right. All in favor? All right. Number 2, consider recommending Board of Commissioners enter into a contract agreement with Robert Brown to instruct tennis lessons at Glynn County Park and Recreation Facility. Ms. Lisa.
Yes, sir. And I believe last month we brought about 5 instructor agreements to you, so this is just another one, and we'll periodically be doing this over the year as we enter into relationships with instructors for programs.
Anything new or different on this one?
No, sir. It's the same contract template that the county attorney approved, same percentages, and for a year period.
Okay. Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Thank you, ma'am. Item number 3, and just so everybody knows, Chief Powell's got another meeting he must attend, so we're going to move items 24, 25, 26 to follow number 3. So number 3, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the retirement of Dog Ellie and allow her to go to McIntosh County Sheriff's Office at no charge. Chief Powell.
Yes, sir, and thank you for the consideration. Ellie is actually a bloodhound, and doing research, the bloodhound was used one time during the course of last year. And just to let you know, we pay about $3,000 a year for the handler, for the maintenance fee for the handler, plus the cost of the animal itself. So we're looking at a return on investment for our canines. What we have done is we replaced Ellie, or going to replace Ellie, with Canine Rex, which y'all approved the use of. McIntosh County will take the dog, take Ellie, and will be available if we have to have use of a bloodhound. Also, Camden County has bloodhounds that we can use if we have to use it. The history just demonstrates that we do not have that big a use for a bloodhound, but we do have a very active use for patrol dogs.
Sure.
And that's why we want to do that.
Any report on Argus?
Argus is doing well. Argus is amazing. He's much bigger than what he was when y'all first saw him, and he's in training currently.
All right. Maybe we could bring him by and say hi to us.
Sure.
All right. Any issues with Ellie?
And she will be used in that capacity as a...
With McIntosh, yes, sir.
She just won't be put out to pastures.
No, sir, and she'll be available for us in case we need her, as well as Camden County has bloodhounds if we have to call them on.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? All right, jumping to 24 now for your agenda. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve a memorandum of understanding with Glynn County Airport Commission to provide 2 police officers for security services at BQK and authorize the increase in the number of sworn officers at the Glynn County PD by 2, with positions to be hired upon full execution of this MOU with funding provided by the Airport Commission.
Yes, sir. TSA requires that we have sworn police officers, officers with powers of arrest, to be stationed at the airport anytime that flights are leaving, because of the screening and stuff. In the past, they had officers that were working off duty that would go out there. But because of the scheduling, everybody has a tight schedule. It got to the point where we were also using City of Brunswick Police to go out there and try to meet the demands, and still we're not able to meet the demands of that. And talking with the airport officials, we come up with an idea. They were paying a security company to be on site. They had a funding stream to pay that security company. There was an idea that was floated, and this has been several months ago, that if we take that funding stream and divert it to where you could place police officers on the property 12 hours per day, which meets the out-flight schedule, use that funding stream to cover the cost of a police officer, you would have one there. Additionally, that police officer would also provide the security needs of the airport property, so they wouldn't have to hire the security company. It's been reviewed by the attorney's office, the agreement, the MOU. Everybody's on the same sheet of music, and we're asking that consideration from the Finance Committee so we can move it to the vote.
And would these police officers, their sole duty would be BQK, or would they get integrated into the regular force and you would sort of move people back and forth?
No, sir, because you have to also have some special training from TSA authorizations and credentialing from TSA to be on the property. Those officers would be airport officers. However, if we have an emergency event, we can use those officers for cover or help us cover that emergency event.
Questions?
Nope.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Great. Number 25, consider recommending Board of Commissioners approve the issuance of a purchase order to Dana Safety Supply in the amount of $62,676.12, utilizing GSA contract to purchase and install police equipment for 13 Dodge Charger pursuit vehicles with funding provided by FY19 Capital Projects Fund.
Yes, sir, this is just a, we retired some vehicles, or will be retiring some vehicles out of the fleet. These are replacement cars that are coming in. Dana has one of the Georgia contracts, GSA, and they will actually do the install of the radio equipment, the light bars, the other lighting equipment on the vehicles. And actually, instead of us having to transport the vehicles, away from our site to another site to have it done, they'll actually come here to do that for us, which will save us about $5,000 on the overall install cost.
Questions?
Well, this, with the addition of these 13 new Chargers, is that pretty much gonna put all of the Crown Vics out to pasture?
I think we'll have a couple left, a couple of Crown Vics left, if I remember correctly, but just about all of the Crown Vics.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Number 26, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the TASER 60 unlimited agreement with Axon Enterprise and approve the issuance of a purchase order for the first year in the amount of $28,191 with funding provided by the Police Department operating budget.
Yes, sir. Just for educational purposes, a TASER is a less lethal weapon that our officers arm themselves with. It's a measure between using deadly force and not having to use any force at all, and it prevents injuries to the individuals that we're having to deal with, and also to the officers. All our police officers, we have 122 of them. Currently, we have 70 tasers that are on hand. This contract will allow all our officers to have tasers. Actually, we'll have 125 tasers through the contract. They'll give us three spares. But every officer will have the advantage of having a taser, less lethal device that's on them. Additionally, this contract will allow us to have the implements needed for the training, for the certification during the course of the year, which are the cartridges that the officer has to go through the training with. Right now, because of the fact that the devices tear up, they have to be replaced and all that, we don't have any kind of warranty on them, and right now we have to replace the devices when they tear up. The actual cost for one taser is $1,065. The battery is $76, and then the cartridge is $33. So there's a cost associated with that. This contract, the 5-year contract, will cover all of that and will allow us, basically we're funding it anyway every year. It's not going to really cost any additional money, other than the fact we'll have a contract in place, and we'll be able to get the replacements when we need them.
So if we didn't have enough for everybody, they were just switching them off when they came on duty, checking them out?
No, sir, all the officers were not trained with them. Actually, what we have on hand right now, we have, it's different models. We have 17 of one model, 38 of another model, and 15 of another model. And that's just because through development, the TASER changes, they make improvements.
Right.
This contract will give everybody the same model, will allow us, we had funding issues in the past that every officer didn't have one. This contract will allow every officer to have a TASER.
So, we had some officers who had to make a different decision between no force and lethal force.
No, well, what we do, Commissioner, we have a policy in place where we actually direct officers that carry at least 2 types of non-lethal force on their person, on their belt. Either pepper spray, an aspeton, or a taser, or a combination of all of those. We want at least 2 of those devices, for an officer to be able to fall back on, that way they don't have to use deadly force.
So the ones who didn't have the taser, they had the other 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right, I guess I was just saying. You had one to say you had one choice.
No, sir. We want to make sure that there's an
Do
option.
nothing or shoot somebody.
Yeah, we want to make sure there's an option there. Obviously will prevent injury to the individuals that we're dealing with, and also to the officers.
Does everybody have a body cam?
The body cameras for patrol, everybody has body cameras out on patrol, or close to. I don't want to say everybody, but close to. Everybody should have a body camera.
Okay.
We have a very robust system where we do recordings, as you well know. We've had to call on the body cameras in the past,
Right.
to provide court information information, but also when we have a complaint come in, we follow on that. We're, in the training, if I can go back to the taser just a second, the training will also increase with the less lethal, because we'll have the ability to do the training with the tasers, because we'll get the taser cartridges for the officers to use for the training purposes.
Okay, any other questions, issues, motion?
For motion, and we approve this agreement for the tasers.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you all very much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
Chief.
All right, so anybody may have come in late, what we did is we moved Chief Powell's items 24, 25, 26 up to the front, and because he has another meeting to attend. And I'm also here to announce that we're going to pull item 16 off the agenda because it needs a little more work to get the verbiage correct. All right, so next item are tax commissioner items, and there's quite a few. Yes, ma'am, good morning, thank you for coming.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Arlene Sapp from the Tax Commissioner's Office, and ready to proceed.
Okay. Start on letter A. It's a request from a property owner to waive penalties and interest from a late property tax payment and refund the property owner, GREF Ocean Lodge LLC, $4,612.99 on 2017 taxes.
Yes, that's what they're stating. They would like to appeal the late fees of $4,612.99. They're stating that they went to the United States Post Office and made address changes, but we were not informed of the address changes. So they're stating they did not get the bill, and they would like for the penalties and interest to be refunded.
So let me ask you the question. In the past, your notices go out and they say on the envelope, "Do not forward."
Right.
Do they still have that?
The post office just forwarded it on to the taxpayer. We do not get the addresses.
Well, my point is, if they went to the post office and they made an address change, why was it not forwarded? Do we know?
We don't know.
We don't know. It just wasn't done.
Right.
And it
We
was
used the address that we had in hand.
right. But if they put an address change in with the post office, theoretically, it would have been forwarded, wouldn't it?
I would think it would be, yes.
Okay. Will, do you have any insight into this?
Just, to a brief reminder that y'all have the ability under state law to approve refunds of property taxes that have been illegally or erroneously assessed. There's no definition in the statute about that, but the courts have said that an illegal tax is one that is not authorized by law or violates state or federal law. Erroneous is a little harder to define, but it includes stuff like assessing taxes against tax-exempt property, clerical errors, assessing using the wrong millage rate, those sorts of things. So that kind of, it's ultimately up to y'all to decide based on the facts that are put before you, but that's sort of the framework that you're working under is illegally assessed, erroneously assessed, or the other category is voluntarily or involuntarily overpaid by the taxpayer.
But the taxes are due the same time every year, right?
Yes.
And this is not the first time paying taxes.
You would think that somebody that owned a business would know when their taxes are due and take steps to assure that they're paid. I've always had a problem with this, even though I pay my county taxes are paid through my mortgage company. I always call the mortgage company to make sure that they paid my taxes and my insurance. And I think that's something a responsible homeowner or business owner is required to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think most people know in their head when the taxes are due every year, if for no other tax but this one.
Particularly when your bill is $46,595. And I would think that Mr. Chapin's position is that it's incumbent upon the taxpayer that he or she notify your office of address changes.
That is correct.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to deny
Second.
item A.
Any further discussion? All in favor? I didn't C, did you raise your hand there, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Thank you. Unanimous. B, request property owner to waive penalty and interest for a late property tax payment, refund the property owner Rialto Holdings $46.87 for 2016 and 17 taxes. Ms. Sapp.
Okay, on this one, I think they were asking for $46.87. We gave them a payoff, and it was an incorrect payoff. Later, we found out that there was a computer error, so we asked for the additional funds. So that's where we stand with that one.
Okay. Do we have any insight into what the computer error was? Was it the date of closing or something like that, or?
It's a little different the way they do penalty and interest now. Normally it was basic 1% per month, one
Right.
time 10% penalty. Now we have to use the bank's rates. We have to wait 120 days before penalties goes on the bills, and it was just an error on our part that that penalty did not go on the bill. It was $46.87, and the customer feels that they should not have to pay that because we gave them a different payoff.
And they paid her?
Yes, they did.
And you're saying that this was our fault, I mean, to some
In-
degree.
Yes, to some degree, yes.
But at the end of the day, you all corrected the error,
And we sent them a letter
and you
stating.
came up with what you all believe is the honest and appropriate penalty,
Correct.
and that's where we get this differential in the amount paid and the amount due.
Correct.
Any other questions?
No.
Commissioner, Commissioner Booker, you're shaking your head. Any questions?
No questions other than, I mean, if they followed our initial procedure, then it wasn't something they haven't done other than trying to respond to our error. So I would offer a motion that we grant this
Second.
refund.
Your motion is to grant the refund of $46.87 because the error was on us?
Right.
And you second?
Yes, sir.
Further discussion? All in favor? Okay. You get their $46 back. Okay, letter C. Request property owner, the request is from the property owner to waive penalties and interest from a late property tax payment, refund the property owner, Southeast Lung Associates, $466.63 for 15 and 16 taxes. Ms. Sapp.
Same situation, the invoices for 2015 and 16 have not been going to the right address. And they're just wanting their funds back because they did not get the bill.
They paid their 2018,
Yes, sir.
and it went to the same address?
Yes, sir.
So,
So did they have a change of address back then in 15 and 16, or?
We made the change of address 7/30 of 2018.
Okay. And you made it because they
That's when
realized
we
they weren't
found out
getting
about
it?
it.
They finally received the delinquent bill, and through another company that we use, and they outsourced the other areas. And anyway, they got bill through the GTS company is what it's called that we use. And they called us and we discussed it, and they gave us a change of address.
So again, as in letter A, Southeast Lung Associates just didn't realize that by November 15th, they hadn't paid their taxes and
for 2 years.
just let it go. Any further discussion?
Motion to,
Second.
No.
disapprove,
Disapprove.
yes.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? D, request from property owner to waive penalties and interest from property owner Tanya's Treasures, Tanya Brown owner, $150.08. Ms. Sapp.
Okay, Tanya Treasures, they were having issues, I think, with the tax assessor's office. They felt the value was incorrect, so they were waiting for that to be resolved before they paid their property tax bills, is what I can tell.
Will, you want to weigh in on that?
I think Ron, actually, Glynn, who's here, might be able to provide a little bit more facts based on that, but.
Aren't they supposed to go ahead and pay their tax bill, and then
That is
if
correct.
if their exemption or revaluation or whatever is granted, then they can get a refund?
Refund or, yes, sir.
But they have to pay their taxes
Have to
first.
pay their taxes first. They said that they went to the assessor's office on a few occasions, and they were just, I'm assuming just waiting on this to be resolved before they paid the taxes.
So that's the fact, that they didn't pay the tax because a reappraisal or reassessment was underway, correct?
That's what I'm
Okay,
understanding,
and
yes,
will,
sir.
the law is you pay your tax and you get it figured out later?
Correct, or at least a portion of the taxes.
Alright.
If you have a pending appeal, you can pay a certain percentage of your taxes while that appeal's getting resolved. But yeah, you're supposed to pay no matter what.
So
And I will state, it has been resolved now, and refunds have been issued to Tanya's treasurers.
Because the assessment was in fact changed.
That is correct.
Mr. Glisten, do you have any insight into this issue?
Pretty standard. They knew there was a correction coming, but they're responsible for their tax bill, so happens quite a bit.
So
So they chose not to pay and wait on the corrected bill. That was their choice.
yeah.
So
So what are we doing? I mean, you said that they got the refund already?
The issue has been resolved, and they've been refunded, but they're wanting the penalties and interest back, though, is what they're requesting.
Oh,
The
okay.
penalties they were assessed for not paying their taxes on time while the issue was being reevaluated.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to deny.
That's second.
All in
penalties and
favor?
interest.
Thank you. E, request from property owner to waive penalties interest from late property tax payment, refund the property owner TKO Motor Sales $7,455.52 for 2013.
And it's stating due to the amount of the tax liabilities that Mr. Ostrom have regarding not only his dealership, but other properties, the tax bill was missed for 2013 year. He states there was it was an honest mistake, and he's just asking for the interest and penalties to be refunded back to him. He stated he did not receive any notices, but in our research, we show that we sent him a property tax bill 9/15 of 2013. We sent him a 30-day delinquent notice 12/16 of 2013. We sent him a GTS notice 7 of 2018. We sent out our 17 tax bill with a notation regarding the delinquent taxes, and an 18 tax
I'll
bill
for a
with
motion
notation
that
regarding
we
delinquent
deny this
taxes.
request.
Second.
The motion's been made to deny the request and seconded. All in favor? Thank you. F, request from property owner to waive penalties and interest from the late property tax payment, refund the property owner EA Shoemaker / MP Footlight $319.79 for 16 and 17 taxes.
And I think they're here in the audience, but what transpired is the property was combined. When the attorney did all the paperwork, he left off one of the lots. And so the taxpayers, they did not realize that that lot was not included in the deed. And the mail was going to a business that they sold, and they didn't get the bill, and they didn't realize that they even owed it, because they thought that this tract was included in the property,
In another property?
in another property, correct?
And who combined the properties, or who was supposed to do that?
An attorney, they had an attorney.
Okay, but not your office.
Not our office, no, sir, an attorney. And they're out here also, if you like to see it.
So they,
Shouldn't they recover that from him?
I would-
So, Mr. Glisten, do you have any
on
insight?
this, no, this would be outside the boundaries of the PAO.
Yeah, got it. Good for you.
yeah, that's a good way to get out of it.
Ladies, do you have anything to add to your case or your plea?
If I can make some comments.
Yes, ma'am. Come on up here. Make your comments. State your name, please.
Pardon me?
Your name first.
Carol Liptrot.
Okay.
I'm the one that sold it to my sister, Elizabeth Lightfoot.
Okay?
And as Ms. Sapp said, when we conveyed the property, like all of the closings, I didn't look at the legal description that good to know it was the same piece of property, but it was 3 different tracts. the attorney did not include two of the tracks. And subsequently, it was the perfect storm, so when the conveyance got conveyed, it didn't include the other tracks. And the delinquent tax notices were going to a business that we had sold that year. And we were mailed 3 of the notices, and the 4th one was hand-delivered to us by an employee on the property, on the business. And
The new owners of the business.
that's right.
But they didn't see fit to send you the other 3.
No, they did not. There is a conflict there.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not gonna go into
Okay,
that, but
right.
we think it was intentional, but anyway.
So you were getting a bill and paying it, but it wasn't for the full combination of
My
lots?
sister,
Right.
that's exactly right. She
All right.
paid the
Got
one
it.
and paid it on time and everything, and we were not aware that
Right.
the other properties were not
But
included.
no awareness that this bill might have looked a little bit less than what the 3 properties might have to be paying?
I wasn't paying them,
Right.
so, but when it was the first bill she had ever paid on the
Got it.
property, so
Okay.
how is she supposed to
Yeah,
know?
whether it was
what it
light or
looked
not.
like? Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was through no fault of
You're right.
ours or hers. It was really an error in the attorney closing, and
Yeah, and I feel for you, but I really feel like that's who you should get this money back from.
well, that's good luck with that, okay?
Yeah.
Because
I
I have
mean-
already addressed that issue, and as a matter of fact, we
Did you
have
go
already.
to the local bar association?
We have gone that far, but I can tell you this, that according to,
The next step is Facebook.
no. If you really want to know the truth, we decided not to pursue it legally like that because that's against the Christian religion.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay, well,
we're
listen,
not going to
It's
sue.
gonna
Thank you,
wind
ma'am.
up costing you more than what you know.
Yeah, I can't, I mean, it's his fault.
Yeah.
I can't have the taxpayers
Nah.
bear that.
I make a motion to approve it.
Anybody with a second?
What's the motion?
To approve the refund.
I can't second it.
I'll second it then. And my discussion of this would be that, in fact, they were paying taxes, but it just wasn't the full amount when they became aware.
I agree,
Okay.
but
All
I
right,
think it's on him.
all in favor? All opposed? 2-1. We'll see, it's got to go before the Board of Commissioners. You did a good job, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, you don't have to stay the rest of the morning, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. G, request from property owner to waive penalties and interest from a late property tax payment, refund the property owner, Cynthia Ann Hyde, $1,023.32 for 2016-17 taxes. Ms. Sapp.
This is a situation in which Ms. Hyde stated that she did not get her property tax bill. She said there was a problem in her county with the addresses, and she even had the post office to even write a letter that there was a problem with the addresses. But she is stating that she did not get her tax bills.
Again, it's a third party.
Yeah. Say that again. There was a property
There was
with
a-
the addresses in the county.
Yes, so the
What
county
county?
had the addresses.
Is it,
it's a
does she
O-
live out of state?
it's
Out of
O-
the county?
OCONELL County Tax Commissioner.
Commissioners, I think from the backup material, I think she lives in Oconee County near
Oconee
Athens.
County.
And from what the narrative says, I guess the local post office there changed people's addresses there, changed their city name from one to another.
Like sometimes we do through our,
Like a good example would be when y'all changed part of Demery Road to Old Demery Road.
right.
So that happened on the local level, but no one notified the tax commissioner's office that address was different.
Now, back to sort of the usual, which is what the tax commissioner's office would suggest is that property owners should realize that by November 15th, they have an obligation to pay the property taxes. And if they haven't gotten the bill, which is sent out, you said, Ms. Sapp, September 15th usually,
That is correct.
it's really incumbent upon them. Any further discussion? Commissioner Booker?
No, I mean, I feel like this is similar to what we just approved. This was a third party, really, not, it's not on us, the tax commissioner office, and she should have paid them.
Motion to deny.
Second.
All in favor? Denied, three, okay. We are on letter H. Request from property owner to waive penalties, interest from a late property tax payment and refund the property owner, Dara Burgess, for 17, and I guess there's two different parcels, 04 1070 734 and 04 01 852 for 17.
Will, is that one of the ones you sent out to us?
No, sir, I think that's the next one.
Okay.
Well, how much is the refund?
$894.45.
Okay, yeah, it's not on here.
And once again, what was the reason
They
behind
were
it?
sent to an old address in Douglas, Georgia.
Oh, what's that?
Okay, 1 second, ma'am. Do we have anything else we missed out?
No,
Yes, ma'am, please, come on up. State your name, please, ma'am.
Dara Burgess. I think in your packet you should have, for some reason I had not lived in Douglas, Georgia since 2012. And at the time I was married and had these rental properties, and it's no excuse. My husband handled everything and I thought it was an escrow, the taxes. And I don't know if you have a copy of that address, but long story short, as soon as I found out that they had not been paid, I went that very day and paid in full. So I was just kind of asking for some leniency on what.
So your understanding was that the mortgage company was taking money out in escrow to pay the taxes?
Yes, sir.
And then you came where it wasn't?
Right, by getting that letter. But it kept going to Douglas, Georgia, and I hadn't lived there since 2012.
And why was the letter going to Douglas, Georgia, do we know?
That was the address we had in hand, Douglas, Georgia.
Once again, they didn't forward it.
Correct.
And then I'm looking at her address here is Frederica Road, St. Simons, Georgia. When did that change?
That day that I came in and paid in
Okay.
full when I got that letter.
So the old address was never changed by you?
It was changed at the post office.
Right.
And all the other mail came, but for some
Right.
reason, and I just thought it was being escrowed, and again,
Right,
it was rental property, and my husband handled that, and I travel, so.
okay. All right, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Discussion?
Again, I feel for her, but I just, if we didn't have an error, then I just don't see how we refund this.
Motion?
Motion to deny.
Mr. Strickland? Any thoughts? What's going on in that brain of yours?
This is my last meeting.
Yeah. Any thoughts
So
about
you're
this?
doing some pardoning on your way out of office?
This is a little bit of a challenge in that,
It is.
you know, the letter was going to the other one, and there was an understanding that the mortgage company was
Yeah,
putting
she
in
thought
escrow.
the mortgage company was making it, it just, you
Yeah.
know, she didn't have any idea there wasn't. I kind of, you know, once again, like I said earlier, I always check with my mortgage company to see that they were paid on time. So,
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
yes, sir. Motion to deny.
Okay, so
Second. Well, I actually.
You made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, second. I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a motion to deny and a second. All in favor? Sorry, ma'am. Where are we? We're at H.
Yes, sir.
Request from property owner to waive penalties and interest from a late property
No.
tax payment.
Aye.
Next one. Aye, I'm sorry.
We're on aye.
Thank you. Sorry. Letter I, request from Robert Bertha for refund for inadvertently paying another property owner's bill for a property in Tennessee Farms that was mailed to his address in Florida. This is one we have not had before, Ms. Sapp.
Yeah, this is,
Tell us how this happens.
What was this?
What transpired here, this person bought property in Florida from the owner of the property that he paid. So when he got the bill, he just paid it, you know. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's what happened though. He bought property from a gentleman in Florida. The person that's asking for the refund. So the person he bought the property from, the bill went to Florida, and they just paid it, you know, inadvertently.
And the property for which the tax is being paid is in Glynn County?
That is correct.
He
How
lives
did
in
we
Florida?
get how did we get his address?
Because Scintilla lived in Yulee, Florida. The company Scintilla, that the property tax bill is under, lived in Florida. He sold the property to the gentleman that paid the bill. So his bill was going, you know, it was going to
Sure.
that person.
Right.
If that makes sense.
A little bit. But the amount of money we're talking about here is $56 and something
Right.
cents.
It was not his bill. It was
Right.
just going to, you know,
ultimately, did the bill get paid the way it was
by
supposed
the
to?
wrong person. It got paid, but by the wrong
No, but I
person.
mean, did the right person? Did we
No.
ever get it straightened out with the right person?
No, not yet. No. We're working on that.
So the true owner of the property, in spite of this, has not, have they gotten the bill? Have we sent a bill to the true owner?
We're working on it, trying to get an address for the true owners and tell them.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Wow, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at J. Request from property owner to waive penalties and interest and refund the owner, Maggie Parker, for school tax exemption that was applied for in 2012 and not removed for 15, 16, and 17. This is another one we have not dealt with. Ms. Sapp.
And this is a situation where in which this taxpayer filed for the school exemption in 2012. At that time, our former commissioner would have the individual to come in every year and bring their income information. If they didn't bring in the income information, the exemption would drop. In 2014, we found out that that's not the way we should have been doing it, that they don't have to keep bringing the income information in every year because most of the time the income goes down. So.
But if it goes up over the threshold, they need to come in
They need
and
to
say,
come
look,
in.
I don't qualify for it.
Exactly, right.
So what happened in 15, 16, 17 in this person's case?
She did not come in and bring her income.
And the previous tax commissioner removed the exemption, is that what we're
Yes,
saying?
it's automatically removed. She filed for it in 2012.
Right.
2013, she didn't bring her income information in, so it removed it.
But why don't we, but she can't ask for a refund there because it's greater than 3 years back, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so she's asking for the 3 years that she can ask for it,
Exactly.
and you're telling us that in fact, the previous tax commissioner was in error by automatically removing her. So this is not the Coleman case that was recently adjudicated, but it has to do with other issues around this.
Correct.
Were we in error, or
Sound like
did the
same place.
state change the requirement?
From what I understand, we shouldn't have been having them to come in and bring that income information in every year. We just misread, you know, the ordinance or whatever.
Commissioner Booker, any issues?
No, I offer a motion to grant this.
Second.
You grant the refund of the penalty and interest.
Right.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
That's not penalty and interest, it's just, you know, the school taxes that she paid. She's wanting the school taxes refunded that she paid.
Okay,
Well, it says to waive the
motion says
penalties and interest.
That's
Okay,
correct.
okay,
It's the
let me
school
just look at it
taxes.
again.
So how much are we talking about?
We're talking about
$173.20.
$62 for 15, $62 for, 15, 16, and $49 for 17.
That was her school tax? Boy,
That's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
So let's, Will, what do we do if there's a motion and a second, but can we?
Well,
can we-
I think that the agenda language says waive penalties and interest and refund the property owner for the school tax exemption. So I
Okay,
think
so
that,
what we'd be saying, there is no penalty and interest, we're just gonna repay the overpayment of the tax.
you're gonna waive the
Okay.
penalties and interest and give her a refund
So,
of
so
the
you're
property
good with the
taxes.
motion then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, and that's a total of $162 or something? Okay.
7320.
Okay. K, request from property owner to waive penalty and interest. Will you stop watching your watch? We're doing the best we can here.
I know, we're almost up to 5.
Request from the property owner to waive penalties and interest and refund the property owner Harrison and Buck Investments. James Hornbuckle, the third president. Ms. Sapp.
Okay, in reading this, it seems like he's really discussing a lot of information about his property being overvalued. The tax assessor's office is handling that, but he still wants his interest and penalties back as well.
Is this
So
one
one
of them
second.
that
Yes,
you
ma'am,
sent
one
us,
second.
Will?
Yes, sir.
And what's, this shouldn't even come to us, should
Well,
it?
I think it depends on the form that you're looking at it. Normally, if you have a problem with your appraisal, you file an appeal of that. It's a situation we talked about before, but I think in this case they did. And actually, if you look at number 5, a correction to the digest affecting this property is one of those items on there. So I think that correction has now been resolved. It's just that you have 2 parallel actions going ahead at the same time. You have the appeal and the refund, and normally you wait for the appeal to be resolved before any refund is processed, but in this instance, I think you have 2 going at sort of the same time.
Didn't we have one of these earlier where there was a,
Mr. Glynn, do you have any insight
Yeah,
in this?
this is the corrections for 2018. This request is a correction for 16 and 17 to the three-year limit. So you've got 2 separate issues, one for the 18 digest, which you'll see on number 5, and then 16 and 17 pertains to K. So you've got two separate issues, is the way I understand it.
Okay, so this is 16, 17.
Right.
Any further questions, Ms. Sapp? Yes, ma'am, come on up.
but isn't the bottom line is, even though there was an appeal going on, they still should have paid the taxes, and then,
Right, you always have to pay your taxes.
Exactly.
But I don't,
That's-
I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about all the ins and outs of this one to know whether they paid the taxes and now are asking for a refund now that that's changed, so Ms. Hornbuckle might be able to.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, I'm Ashley Hornbuckle, my husband is Jamie Hornbuckle, and so what we're filing for, you're correct, is actually an appeal as well as a refund. So we worked with the city, my husband owns 2 parcels of property, 9 and 10 Glynn Avenue. 10 Glynn Avenue was a property that he purchased, and there was a building, and you can probably see from all that supporting documentation, there's a building that was on that. We worked with the city and had a contract with the city to actually demolish the structure. The city paid for half and we paid for half. So the structure was demolished. Since that time, we have still been billed for a structure on that particular lot, when in fact there was no structure. And in fact, if you look at the Glynn County GIS, there are photos that show that there's no structure on that lot. So we've been paying for a number of years for a structure that does not exist on a lot. We've also simultaneously asked that be corrected for 2018 going forward, but we can't go back any further than what I'm told than 17 and 16 to request a refund, even though we've been paying for it a number of years prior to that. So that's all we're requesting.
How did you find out that you were being billed for this?
Well, actually, because Hurricane Irma pretty much has destroyed that building and he is no longer able to be in his facility, we actually work at the bank, and we were in the process of trying to figure out how we're going to pay for his new office. And so we went back and were looking through all our records to see if we could go back and remortgage this existing property, and at the time we pulled all the tax records and realized that we had been paying for a structure that did not exist.
Is your husband the vet,
Yes,
animal things there?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
The what now?
her husband's a vet. It's right there on Glen Avenue, right there where where Cito is, right
Right,
across the
right.
street from
Okay,
Cito,
okay.
that building. And then they moved down to the building that was
The former
vacant
Lay's
for a
building.
year, that
Right.
was, the surf place was in
That's
or
right.
whatever.
So, let me ask you this, just looking at 16 and 17, because 18 is on item 5, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so just looking at 16, 17, I'm trying to flip through the records, what are we talking about, $720, something like that?
Approximately, I don't have the appeal.
I
in front of
see
me.
720.97. That
That's
sound right?
right.
That's what they're asking for, penalties and interest,
But, it's really $611.17.
6/11/17.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Okay.
okay, I don't know, but look at item F and the supporting paperwork, so, just to be sure.
How long were you all paying this extra?
It's been a number of years, probably 5 or 6, I'm going off of memory. He bought that property from Bill Brown. So,
Okay.
maybe 2008, 9 is when we bought it. But we didn't destroy the building, with the partnership with the city until a couple years after. So maybe 11, I'm guessing.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am, thank you, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Discussion, motion,
I'll for motion that we grant the refund.
Second.
any further discussion? All in favor? Refund's been granted on the penalty and interest, right, the overpayment, okay. L, request from property owner McRealty Group / Crystal A. McAllen member for the refund on dispute of solid waste fees. Ms. Allen.
Okay, in researching this, we did find out that he did overpay in solid waste fees, just not the amount that he stated, $2,250. We have to rely on the tax assessor's office for the values and the amount of houses that are on the dwellings. And speaking with the tax assessor's office, we came up with the amounts, which totaled $1,750 that he overpaid in solid waste fees. versus
So
the
you would concur that this is a legitimate request, and in fact, he overpaid his solid waste fees?
Yes, sir, just not as much as he stated.
Okay.
He did.
He was being charged for more garbage cans than he had on his property.
That is correct.
That's the bottom line.
Mhm.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All right, refund granted there.
Thank you, Ms. Sapp.
Thank you
Have
so
a Merry
much.
Christmas.
I appreciate it.
Good job, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, property appraisal items, Mr. Glynn. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the real and property corrections and exemptions as recommended by the Board of Assessors and the Chief Appraiser at the Thursday, November 15 meeting, with clarification that this does not approve a tax refund.
Correct. These are, what's in front of you are the November 15th, 2018 corrections from the Board of Assessors. And try to answer any questions you may have.
So I'm looking here, and it's got a building at 10 Glynn Avenue. Would that be one we just discussed?
Let's see, Tim Glenn.
That was one that she mentioned.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. Building has been removed. Okay. Any other issues there, Ron?
No. None noted.
Okay. Questions?
No.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. 6.
They got a flip phone.
Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the real and property corrections and exemptions as recommended by the Board of Assessors and the Chief Appraiser at their December 13 meeting with clarification this does not approve a tax refund.
Yeah, these are a little bit different here. These are corrections from the December 13th. These are covenants that have been breached. Kind of, you don't see these very often, but what happens here, this is a part of the Keep Georgia Green programs where they have to keep them in a natural state for either 10 or 15 years, depending on which program. So when they breach this for various reasons, they have to come back and pay double the tax benefit. So this is actually a double tax benefit to Glynn County. So it's kind of a unique situation. You don't get these very often.
So essentially you're saying the owner's going to pay more tax?
Yeah, this was a sale where it went from agricultural to commercial, where it
Okay.
has visions of it's against the covenant. So they agree to pay twice the tax savings for each given year, and that's why you see it's going down to 2013 forward, 2013 to 18.
They understand this
They
when they
understand
go
this,
into
yeah.
this.
We're not gonna see an appeal of this next month?
They don't have, there's no appeal rights for this.
Very good.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Merry
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
to you.
Merry
Same to
Christmas,
you.
great job, yeah. Okay, budget and grant item 7. Consider recommending Board of Commissioners amend the fiscal year 19 operating budget for probate court by increasing revenues and expenditures by $8,000 to fund an associate judge. Man, good morning.
Hi, I'm Janice Carroll, and I am Chief Clerk for Judge Duncan. She was at a hearing this morning, so.
Okay. Tell us about,
Okay, back in 2011, y'all approved the position for the associate judge.
We did?
You did, and
I
at
wasn't
that
he- I
time,
wasn't here.
I was, but I don't, that's one of the things I don't remember.
at that time, Barbara McDonald was the chief clerk, so she became the associate judge. And then when she left, Judge Duncan hired Ms. Jennings, and she was chief clerk, and she became associate judge. And now I'm the chief clerk, but I can't be the associate judge because I live out of the county. So Judge Duncan needs help with the caseload, the contested caseload. I mean, probably out of every 10 cases, we end up with 3 or more contested matters. And right now, we have a stack.
What is this, a part-time position?
It's a part-time position. She's asking for part-time.
how long has she been without Miss Jennings?
A year, a little over a year. And, Judge Duncan hasn't even had vacation this year because of the caseload. Even the immediate probates are, every day.
There's no other associated expenses incurred with this? It's just a straight $8,000?
Well, she's asking for an increase of $8,000 to help us get through this fiscal year.
And then she's gonna ask for a
And then
budget
she's gonna
increase
ask
next
for a
year?
budget increase, yes, sir.
But make sure I'm clear. We're having to do this simply because you don't live in the county.
Right, and she needs to be able to appoint someone part-time that can come in and help hear these contested matters.
Did she realize that when she hired you, that that would be
Well,
an issue?
I've been an employee for 29 years, but I got promoted to the chief clerk.
Right,
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm saying that she understand that you could not follow suit with the previous,
She did
so,
know
so,
that I couldn't be a chief clerk.
the judge,
An associate judge.
okay.
So,
Judge Atwood even offered to try to hear some of them, but his caseload has gotten kind of crazy too, and he's not able to help.
help me understand the $8,000 when the yearly salary is $11,000.
But this is gonna be more than 8 next
Well,
year,
I-
Alan.
I talked to Tanya a couple of weeks ago, and
Is that for the
she did
full
some
year?
figuring, and that's what she come up
It
with.
was the difference between now and the end of the year to pay for it throughout the rest of the year, because it's not a full year.
That's just till June 30th?
Right.
Yes, sir.
And then what will it be next year?
Should be 11 next year.
It'll be 11 next year.
10 or 11.
Does she have somebody in her sights to hire and get this stuff, this
She has a
workload done?
couple that are willing to do it, and like I said, they would be a part-time basis. We would schedule the hearings, they would come in and hear them, and then they would turn in an invoice for their time.
If you were able to fill this position, would she give you this amount of money extra because you're doing extra work? So would we have to pay it anyway, or? And I guess that's what I'm trying to rationalize, that
And I don't know if the other two got an increase in their salary for doing that. I don't know.
So she made the decision to hire you because she knew you would be a good clerk at the position you're at now. But she knew that because you didn't live, obviously if you've been with her for a long time, she know where you live.
Yeah, we moved out of the county 7.5 years ago.
that you would not be able to assist her as the others had.
And that was a year ago. But it's just not, we just have so many,
Do we know
Cases coming
know
in.
if there was
and the involuntary hearings out of the office, it's just really.
I guess, do we know what, and I know the salary may have been different because depending on, I guess, tenure and other things, but I'm just trying to figure out if these other folk got paid additional. This seems like because of this decision, we're having to come up with some extra money for a position.
It suggests here in the petition that the funding will be derived from more marriage license fee revenue than budgeted. So I don't know that it's going to
Impact the budget at all.
Okay, so she'll be able to earn her keep, so to speak.
probably even derive more revenue because she's moving cases through.
Okay, all right.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Merry
you so
Christmas.
much.
Yeah.
We really
She
appreciate
needs
it.
the help, I know. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Yes,
Y'all
yes,
have a
ma'am.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, number 8, consider recommended Board of Commissioners amend the fiscal year 19 budget for an increase in revenues and expenditures in the clerk of state courts budget by $25,000 each for the purpose of training and hiring a new accounting technician too. Good morning, yes ma'am.
Good morning. I'm Brenda Bunko, I'm the clerk of state court. I've put a request in that you amend my budget to increase revenues and expenditures. I have a accounting technician who is responsible for all the bookkeeping in my office who is retiring June 30th. And I am requesting to be able to hire someone and have them train with her March, April, May. So this is just for, it will not increase my budget next year because she will vacate the position and things should stay.
So
You
go
asked-
ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, can you sort of fill in the blanks on why $25,000 is needed for a three or 4 month training period?
Right. So, so if you take the mid-range, the hiring range for that position, the minimum is $13.44 an hour. I don't, I'll look for someone at that price, but they've got a lot of responsibility. The midpoint is $17.47 an hour. So I rounded it up to 20 and just said 20 across the board, 40 hours a week, 18 weeks. Salary is $14,400. You add the health insurance requirement because I'll be a full-time employee. You add the pension requirement. It brings you up to about $20,000. I added some additional in there in case I need an extra computer. I just didn't want to come back and say, hey, I need an extra $5,000 for a computer or something for the new employee. So
Basically, it's the mid-range salary, 40 hours a
For
week
about 18
for 18 weeks plus benefits.
right.
And you have this in your budget?
I do. So our revenue is trending up. If you take our 5 months of revenue that we've paid over to the county for fines and fees, you take that out by 12 months, we're going to be about $350,000 in excess of revenues, which should make you happy.
I'm ecstatic. What a Christmas
We are
gift.
trending high for for whatever reason.
Question? Motion?
For a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Excellent, thank you, good job.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Good job. Number 9, consider recommended Board of Commissioners accept a grant contract and awarded funding in the amount of $5,950 from Bissell Pet Foundation and increase the animal control's fiscal 19 revenue expenditure budget by $5,950 each and authorize the board chairman to sign the grant agreement subject to approval by the county attorney.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
We are in receipt of a grant from the Bissell Pet Foundation in the amount of $5,950. These funds are going to help us continue with the Friends Don't Let Friends Have Litters program, which assists low-income families or residents spay and neuter their animals. So animal control has had huge success with this program, so we are very fortunate to keep getting revenues for this.
And animal control is pleased with the program and the money, and
very much.
you're reaching out to the people in need to get the free spay and neuter?
Yes, with the grant money that we received from the Department of Agriculture, when we posted the application, we had spent the $3,000 in pre-booking surgeries within 5 days.
Great,
This would be another estimated 200 surgeries we could do.
excellent.
Great. Keep down that population.
Great job.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, Merry Christmas. Thank you,
Christmas
good
to
job.
both of you.
Bob, is this why you were here? Why you sitting way over there?
10, consider recommending Board of Commissioners accept a grant award and equipment provided by Spirit of Blue in the amount of $7,040 to increase the police department's 19 revenue expenditures by $7,040 each. Authorize the board chairman to sign the grant award letter, subject to approval of county attorney.
What this grant will provide to the Glynn County Police Department are steel plates and the carriers for the plates. So it's for their SWAT team. And the way that it was put together at the time, it's one of the teams or departments that needed the equipment or the protective gear the most. So it was approved. Everything will be pre-ordered through the foundation. So we'll get the equipment. We're not going to get the funds. But they're in constant contact with the police department as far as the color, the sizes, so it blends in with the rest of the equipment. There's no match.
Call for a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, 11. Yes, ma'am, thank you, Monica, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, good job. 11, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners increase the FY19 Public Works operating revenue and expenditure budget, the amount of $6,000 for maintenance of the South Harrington Park. Yes, sir, Mr. Oster.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is $6,000 we received from the St. Simon's Land Trust as part of the construction of the park. We received $6,000 a year for 3 years. This is the final year. In order to spend this money, we have to give it to finance, and then we have to ask them for a revenue and expenditure budget.
So
And then we spend the money.
This is land trust money, $6,000 that comes to you all, given to the finance committee, and then you get it back to maintain the park.
Correct.
Who's
Right
gonna,
there.
is this gonna, next year, this is gonna have to be
Come out of our budget.
budget
Yes, sir.
to, and this is the park at the school, right?
Correct.
Right next to the school.
Right
Right.
next to the school.
Right next to the school.
Right.
Have
Is
they
it being
cleaned up?
used a lot? I'm sorry.
No.
Is it being used a lot?
Oh, yes, sir.
Is it?
Oh, the park's being
Right.
used, yes.
Amen.
And we use the money, yes.
Have you been able to use some of this money to dig out some of those horrible weeds along the edge of the road there? In that park?
We cut those weeds off when the guy moved his car. The guy across the street was parking his second car over there. So we had to
resolved
wait
that
till that
issue?
car, we had to wait till that car was moved before we could cut those weeds.
So is it better to
After
cut the
the
weeds
bees.
or to dig them out and round up the area? What's the, do I need to
Can't
get out
use
there and help?
Roundup.
You
There's
can
a
get out there and
lawsuit
help,
against
yes,
Roundup.
yeah.
All right. So we'll just assure me, we'll put this to good use and we won't have these
It's about
man-eating
$5,000 a year to keep the ponds clean.
weeds. Okay. So
To
the
keep
weeds
ponds-
are
to put
secondary, is that what
chemicals
you're
in the
saying?
ponds is about $5 grand a year.
Just the ponds,
Just the ponds.
nothing else.
Right, so it's a losing proposition.
It
Blow off
is.
the sidewalks, we will definitely spend in excess of $6K.
All right, well, I'll check the weeds out though next year, huh?
Absolutely.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Thank you, sir. Have a
sir.
great Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
Yes, sir.
Is he? Okay, I can't wait. Recommend the Board of Commissioners accept the fiscal year 19 LibTech funding grant and authorize a revenue expenditure amount of $4,929 for Marshes of Glynn Library. Funding provided by the Georgia Public Library Service. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes, so this is the same tech grant that we've gotten several years from the state. They changed the name, and we used to have to shop off a vendor menu, and now they kind of changed that. It's not a true vendor menu anymore. It's a designated list that goes back to the bond money for what this grant was. So we're going to get some new tech at the library and replace some technology for the public.
So you're happy with what you're getting with this money?
Yes, very happy. $14,000 is
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Questions? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Just had to keep keep you hanging a little bit.
I know, that's
We
why I was
always
like,
make
wait a
it,
minute.
we always make it too easy for you.
Why is there such silence?
Yeah,
Merry
had you going, didn't we?
You did.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Gary.
Christmas, I'll see you all.
Oh, you got another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to confirm that we did confirm with HR the other two employees were being paid additional duties pay to be the associate judge. So it's actually not more money than what they were
It's
already
within that.
spending previously.
So it's revenue neutral and fund kind of out of their own budget. Thank you for doing that. Okay, 13, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners renew the contract for Workers' Compensation Administration insurance with the ACCG of Georgia Self-Insured Workers' Compensation Fund for January 1 to December 31, 2019 at a cost of $267,442 with a deductible of $500,000. Good morning, Ms. Ora.
Good morning, how are you guys today?
Good, doing great.
Good, good. I think the agenda item kind of explained it all. This is our renewal with ACCG for our workers' comp program. It's
Is there an increase?
about 5.3% increase in the premium for the contribution.
That's pretty much standard, isn't it?
It is,
That
and
right?
we had a little uptick in our payroll, which they use that for to determine what the rate will be. And
Have our workman comp claims gone down over the?
yes,
Yeah.
the claims have
Yeah.
gone down. Not the number of claims have not gone down, but the costs have gone down.
Yeah.
So we have the safety program in place.
We have a safety program in place, and because of that, we receive a 7.5% reduction in our premiums every year. So
Okay.
as long as we keep that program going and stay on top
What
of
does that
things.
program entail again?
Safety talks. Kim Munoz Strickland is our safety officer. She does job hazard analysis, driver's training every year. What else?
Is there any incentives to the employees for
No,
recognizing?
we don't have that type of program in place. We used to have something like this many years ago.
Budget cuts.
Yeah, but we don't have anything like that in place right now. But
Okay.
I mean, there are things we could come up with, but we don't have what we had in the past. In the past, I'm sure Commissioner Strickland remembers this, but it was employees used to win like big prizes. Or, it would be put in teams, and if the team did well, it was a cross county team. It wasn't like just the police department. They were mixed up, and if your team did well,
Yeah, that seems,
won some prizes.
okay, that might be something to consider at some point.
Okay, well, it sounds like something we need to move forward on. Any
Yes, sir. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thanks, ma'am. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Appreciate
Christmas,
it.
Ora.
Okay, 14, consider the Board of Commissioners approve the continuation/extension of the Quality Recording Solutions Maintenance Service Agreement with funding provided by the 911 Center's FY 18-19 operating budget. Good morning.
Good morning, Kara Richardson. We're just wanting to renew the contract that we have with Quality Recording, and they service our recorder for both the pay and the 911 center, the radios and 911 truck lines, in addition to the administrative lines. And we're looking to just go ahead and do a 4-year contract and lock in that same price that we've been paying.
So there's not an increase?
No, sir.
Great. Any questions? Motion?
For motion, we approve.
Second.
Contract.
All in favor? Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Very much. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We are on number 15. Good morning.
Good
Ms.
morning.
Pamela. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the issuance of a purchase order for 3 1/2-ton Chevrolet Silverado pickups for $24,600 per unit for a total of $73,800 to Lansdale Chevrolet, funding provided by the FY19 Capital Project Fund budget in a lot of different numbers there. Ms. Thompson.
Yes, this is the purchase order request for
This is the money you gotta use up.
the building inspection unencumbered or encumbered general fund, yes, sir.
So
So this is the request y'all approved at the last meeting to allow her to spend some money, and we're just coming back to request the purchase order. The funds have already been moved into the capital projects fund.
Offer a motion that we accept the recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Okay, we said earlier we were going to pull item 16.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Yes, sir.
I think just for housekeeping purposes, it'd be great if y'all would make a motion to actually pull that item and then vote on that.
Should we make a motion to pull it or defer it?
Defer, whichever you prefer.
Well, if we defer it, just to defer it to a date not known? Date uncertain.
Why are we doing that?
Commissioner, I think that's my fault. I thought there's some more documentation we need to maybe assemble and put together before it comes to y'all.
Oh, okay. So we can put this on you? All right.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to defer this to a date uncertain. Is that what you need? Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. 17, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the bid from CCS Presentation System with suggested alternatives for the approved there you are, Brunswick Library renovation project for $51,217.14 with funding from the Capital Outlay Grant from the Georgia Public Library Service and Glynn County FY19 budgeted debt. Hey again.
This is our bid for the AV for the new renovated library in Brunswick. So we are getting a large matrix switcher for the entire new big conference space. We can afford to do projectors and screens in 2 of the 3 spaces within the large 400 seat, as well as we can also do some digital signage.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
She's
I'm
next
done.
up next.
All right.
And then I'm done.
And
And then Merry Christmas.
That's right. Got to get back to number 18. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 10 from Benning Construction Company for a total of $650.16 for a new contract amount of $2,518,045.92 with funding from the Capital Outlay Grant from the Georgia Public Library Service and the Glynn County FY19 budgeted debt. So all you're asking for is
$650.
to add to $2.5 million. Okay.
So, with every renovation, we just, you keep finding stuff. And we were supposed to have gotten our sign in the front on the Gloucester Street porch, where the Brunswick Library sign used to be. We were just going to patch and paint. Well, after removing the sign, we realized how bad it was. So we just need to redo the entire stucco.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Very
Christmas.
good.
See you soon.
Okay.
19, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the second-year option of the solid waste collection and recycle services with Republic Services Georgia doing business as Southland Solid Waste System for the requested services effective January 1, 2019, unit price of $102.72 for solid waste collection and $40.68 for recycling. Funding provided by the Special Assessment Fee and the Solid Waste Collection Fund. Mr. Austin.
So, good morning again. Apparently, I am the only thing between Commissioner Strickland and the door in his last meeting.
Right.
So,
hopefully, he won't look at his watch every few minutes.
I'd like to say that in honor of the chairman today, I am not wearing socks.
We noticed.
Yeah, okay.
We like your shirt too here in Georgia Bulldog country.
Yeah, this is a Florida shirt.
Yeah, it is, very much so,
much.
yeah. So what do you think about this?
2% increase in accordance with the contract that we bid out last year. So everything gets a little bit more expensive. You'll notice that Ivan Figueroa and Charlie Kreveling are here today, back there. So if you want to ask them any questions, I think the thing that probably gets the most scrutiny is the drop-off center goes from $27 to $28, but that is somewhat consistent with what Waste Management and Liberty Roll-Off are charging.
Okay. First question. With the solid waste collection of 102.72 and the recycling of 40.68, that comes out to roughly $143. Right now, we charge $125 on the tax bills. Now, does that mean in the 2019 tax bills that property owners are going to see an increase in their property taxes as far as the?
They could. There was a surplus, and the surplus has been dwindling down because not everybody has recycled.
Exactly. That was my
So,
next question. How are you going to differentiate the $40 and something between the people that choose to recycle and those that don't recycle?
Well, I mean, everybody gets a charge 125.
Right.
So the people that use recycle, you know, we're a loss at that one. The people that were just picking up trash were a gain. As you see, there's 27,000 solid waste customers, and there's 13,500 recycled customers, and that number goes up about 10, 15 a week over the period of the year.
So, Mr. County Manager, you won't know until next year when you start putting the budget together whether there'll be need to be an increase as far as
Typically,
well, we look at it every year. Eventually, it's something that needs to be addressed, but we've been watching it. But the solid waste fund has a healthy fund balance, and as long as we have that healthy fund balance, and we can, you know, maintain without any issues, I'm not
absorb the cost.
Right, I'm not going to propose an addition, an increase, but I think we're fine. The account's strong, and we'll continue to monitor it each year.
Okay.
So the question I have is that at a recent work session, there was some discussion about not recycling glass products anymore. Where do we stand on that, Mr. Oster?
Well, we're waiting a proposal from Republic Services on what they plan to do, what they plan to offer us.
So with this 2019 calendar year contract, the expectation is we will have glass recycling. Is that what you're telling me?
The expectation for this contract is status quo. Well, what is in
Gentlemen,
the contract?
you good with that?
I voice my concerns. I'm in a little bit of a different situation than you are because the city does not get the same service. I just this morning took a picture of the guys taking the debris from my yard. My yard is neat except for when they took up the debris. It is a mess. And it wasn't like that when the contract started, and it wasn't like that when Waste Management had. They at least raked it up. They got it up neatly. So now, if you go by the rest of my yard is neat, but where they picked it up, it is a mess. And they left most of the debris. So I mean, if
Would
you
you like to get with Charlie and Mr.
I've already expressed that to them, and I got Charlie on speed dial. But and I'm just tired of complaining because it doesn't seem to be improving. And city residents are county taxpayers as well. And I know we pay that with the city, but you know, I mean, if you're comfortable with what the service is in the county, and I guess you have to determine that if you're not getting a bunch of complaints. But I'm telling you, this is just ridiculous.
Do you express this at the city commission meeting?
All the time. They've met with them. The city's been meeting with them.
But this is really the county.
It's the county thing. As you know, our yard trash is, they're required to put it in bags, and they get 10 bags every 2 weeks. And so it's bagged and then thrown in from a bag. The city's different. They just allow them to put it out on the sidewalk, or put it out on the
and
side.
it hadn't been, I've been there 20 years, and it hadn't been a major issue like this here the last year or so. It's ridiculous.
Are we having any major problems with the county as far as with?
We have no major problems. We review minor problems once a month, talk about carts, broken carts, missing carts, not delivered carts, and service that's missed. We review that with customer service.
Well, I've ever since I've been on the commission, I've always been able to call Charlie on his cell phone, and if I have any kind of problem whatsoever, he
I can
takes care
call
of
him
it
on the cell
immediately.
phone. He answers. not the one picking this stuff up.
No, but he can make sure it's done right, though, like.
I'm just tired of asking for that. I mean, it doesn't take but a few seconds. I watched them do it properly, and they used to do it right. But this was just, and they leave a hole out. So, I mean, anyway.
Right, yeah, but that, as we said, that's something for the, separate from this. I understand, but, and I don't know where the disconnect is, but I tend not to call Charlie, and my wife calls the customer service, and we found to be very responsive. So, I think that the point is that the county seems to be satisfied, except for this glass issue, which will not be changed under this contract, correct?
Correct. They need to come back to us.
All right.
And
Ivan, do you have something you want to say? Come on up. Charlie, you're welcome too, of course.
Yeah, come on up, guys. More the merrier.
Commissioner Strickland, he
Noticing
got
that
all
it's
day
getting
set
close to
aside for
12.
this meeting.
Charlie's over there in front of
The
the
whole day
commissioner.
set aside. He's not in any hurry. He knew we had about 40 items on here. Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, okay. With that out of the way, are you going to pick up glass next year?
So the issue has never been that Republic Services as a company didn't want to do the glass. The glass eventually makes its way to our Jacksonville facility. We have talked with our Jacksonville people and asked, you know, are you intending to remove glass from the commodities that are accepted anywhere in the foreseeable future? And the answer is no. So the issue has been with the transfer station. And so we have been working with the transfer station to get this resolved. We don't have a resolution yet, but we are working diligently to get this taken care of.
That's Liberty Roll-Off.
Yes, sir. So that there is no changes for neither the city nor the county on glass. We don't have a final resolution yet, but we are diligently working to try and get that fixed.
Thank you.
I made a motion to approve it.
And when they do, they'll come back to a work session. Discuss. When they do,
Yeah,
they'll come back to a work session.
Yes.
So this backdoor service charge, that is really $208? Yeah, okay, for some reason I thought it was more like $100. But it's always been that high? Okay, great. Well, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions for these gentlemen? All in favor? All right. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to
Thanks
you
for
all.
coming. Yeah, appreciate it. We got some chocolates for us?
It's got my cell number on it.
Thought you had some Christmas candy. Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. So we're at 20. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners establish a contract with the State Management Services in the amount of $8,219.40 to remove the sediment at the Grand Oaks Homeowners Association is requesting to remove, with funding provided by the county manager's contingency. Mr. Austin.
So this is a pond on St. Simon's Island that's owned by the Grand Oaks Homeowners Association. However, it has a county drainage easement that flows through it. And because of that and some of the deposits that came out through the county easement, it is debatable and whether the county has some responsibility, and we believe the county has some responsibility in cleaning out some of the sediment that's in the pond.
But don't we have the same responsibility for a number of other ponds and lakes?
We do
spread
have
across
easements.
this county where we have easements, and this has never been an issue with any of them. You know, we always tell them they got to take care of it themselves. It's their part of their subdivision.
They have to take care of the pond, but they haven't called us to tell us to dredge the pond, or these folks have a little bit of an island in the pond now because of the sediment that's washed through.
The pond is silting up from runoff from county properties upstream. I've been out there with David and Ben Pierce, and as he says, it's a debatable issue, but it's clearly an issue, and the silt is coming from our side of it.
And there's no way to stop it or contain it, or?
There is a way. We've got some ideas to put some kind of catch areas on the ditch upstream to catch some of the stuff. But I mean, it's pretty clear to see the magnolia leaves on our property and the magnolia leaves in the pond, and there's no other magnolia plant around the pond, so it's pretty easy to say, well, those leaves probably came from county property. We have a nice little piece of property where all this stuff flows into. So it's kind of hard to tell them no.
Okay.
In addition to that, the county attorney has a correction on the motion, I believe.
Commissioners, excuse me, if y'all are inclined to approve this item, the original proposal from the contractor was, we agreed to the proposal and then they'll send us a contract, which would make this a two-step process because we'd have to bring that contract back to y'all for approval later. They've now agreed just to accept a PO, so you have a revised motion in front of you.
Okay.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
The contract's something.
Yeah, I apologize. I too many notes in front of me, Will. So let me restate number 20. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners issue a purchase order to Estate Management Services in the amount of $8,219.40 to remove sediment that the Grand Oaks Homeowners Association is requesting to remove with funding from the county manager's contingency fund.
For motion that we issue the purchase order to State Management.
All in favor? Good with that now, Will?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 21, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners authorize change order number 1 for the rehabilitation of Old Jessup Road rebid project contract with the East Coast Asphalt in the amount of $53,234 with funding from SPLOST 2016.
So this is a full depth replacement project that we're doing out on Old Jessup Road. You know, the road has collapsed. When we had a meeting out there about a month ago with some experts on full depth replacement. It happened to be from South Carolina Department of Transportation, or previous employees from South Carolina Department of Transportation dug big holes. The problem out there is the road is built on gumbo clay, and gumbo clay is an expansive clay, and the problem is that clay is about 6 inches below the roadway surface. Probably the reason the road has failed in many places. Okay, so what we're going to do is add dirt to the road and then stir up all that with concrete or asphalt, cement for the full depth replacement to harden the base, and then we'll asphalt over top of that. So what we wanted, what this change order does is allow more dirt to be hauled in, allows us to stay out of that gumbo clay. We don't want to get into the gumbo clay and mix that into the to the mix, because that will it will pump water up. It will cause problems.
Is this the portion of Old Jessup all the way up at Omaha Park?
Correct. Yes.
I know I was against this from the get-go. Why in the world are we paving that? I mean, every time it floods up there, the Omaha River comes out of its banks, and it comes across that thing.
Well, we've put, part of this project was to take the pipes. We've put 2 new pipes and 1 box culvert in there to move that water from one side of the road to the other.
Pinnock Road?
All the way up.
This is not Pinnock Road.
This is not Pinnock Road, but it parallels 341.
This is currently paved.
Yeah, it's currently paved.
Oh, okay.
It's currently paved.
Okay, it's not the part that we're paving up there.
No, sir. We're resurfacing it. You could argue that you know, the average daily traffic is low. However, there is some use on it. And the problem right now is it's dangerous. I mean, the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. You cannot go 45 miles an hour on this section of road because of the way the road dipped down. You may have remembered the splosh, the picture we had that showed the deviation.
I'm sorry, I was on the wrong end of that road. Okay. Okay.
Motion?
Motion. You go ahead.
I'll offer a motion for this change order, authorize this change order.
Second.
All in favor? 22, consider recommending Board of Commissioners exercise the second option year with Series Incorporated for debris removal and disposal services should such services be needed following an event resulting in large quantities of debris.
So last year, this was hard to get through Commissioner Strickland because of the performance we had during Irma and at the initial onset. A different group of subcontractors that Ceres used because a lot of the other subcontractors were gone. But during the Irma process, we fleshed out some of those folks. We got some other folks in. I think we closed pretty good. Ceres has been doing we have a good relationship with Ceres. They've been doing a good job for us. We have a price, a good price, and we want to continue on with their services.
I think the problem last year was Harvey and what was the other, Maria? Was that it? The two natural
Irma hit Florida before it hit us.
Right. But then that was the
Right.
problem, that
Right.
we had to
Harvey
get.
sucked away a lot of the
Right,
assets.
we had to take substandard,
Right.
you know, subcontractors to, so.
Do we look at, or do they look at maybe working with us and trying to get local folk to?
There was some locals.
I know they went to that, but I'm saying, it seemed like to me that if you use local people, then they're more likely to do a better job because they care about the community.
Well, one of the problems was last year that even though we had local subcontractors, they just didn't have the equipment. You know, Ceres, when they bring in these big boom trucks and they pick stuff up and they move it over. Well, what they were doing is maybe what was similar to what happened to your yard trash. They bring a front end loader in, they pick it up, put it on a truck or whatever, and then off they go, and they never clean up the mess. And I know that myself and probably all the other commissioners spent a lot of time with you last year trying to resolve constituents' problems, because this was what was happening to them. They just
Correct.
tearing up their yards,
It looked like
everything else.
I know our street looked like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Had hit it
Afterwards.
again after they had picked up the debris.
Yeah, so, okay. So we think we got it flushed out.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, last item is 23. Consider recommending Board of Commissioners award a contract for the SPLOST 2016 Frederica Road resurfacing project to East Coast Asphalt of Douglas, Georgia for $1,871,829.60 with funding from SPLOST 2016. Mr. Austin.
So this is the exciting Federico Road resurfacing project that we're all looking forward to. We had two bids on it. The other one came in from Seaboard Construction, about $600,000 more. The $1.8 million bid is a little over our estimate, but there is money in SPLOST to take care of it. And in accordance with the direction from the Island Commissioner, we have put in a bid alternative, which we are recommending you approve today for nighttime road milling and resurfacing from Demery Road North.
As needed.
As needed. So that's about a $45,000 addition. There will be additional challenges with my staff. We'll probably have to pay some overtime as we have folks out there during the operation at night, and they're busy during the day. Day or night, there'll be plenty of short-term pain and discomfort for all, I think, during this operation. But there is some long-term gain as we fix this, okay? Not only a resurfacing job, because there are two areas on Federica that will be doing some construction. Those areas will be done during the day. That will be over there by the HT area, Harris Teeter, and down the street by Wimberley, two intersection improvements. Some of that stuff is done off-site, like we're doing intersection improvements on Sea Island Road right now. I think we're doing this at the right time of the year. We hope to get this approved so we can get started in January, and we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 weeks, so we could go late January, February, March, and try and get out of here, try and get it done.
Would you explain to me as needed?
I will. That was my turn.
That was his turn.
This is going to be,
Like we can pass that off.
That was good, I'm fine with it. So, as you know, we're talking about resurfacing Frederica from the Thrive area down to the intersection with Kingsway. Along the airport, there's not a lot of turns or issues there, but as you move from the roundabout towards this intersection with Sea Island Causeway, the volume of traffic during the day becomes truly incredible in the early morning hours, at lunchtime, in the evening, particularly at that intersection of Sea Island Causeway / Road and Frederica. And we're going to do a little bit on the Sea Island Road portion of that intersection too to take up those potholes. So the volume of traffic there, in my opinion for sure, and maybe Mr. Austin's opinion, depending on the time of the day, is that it would be very difficult to mill and resurface that during the day with the volume of traffic coming through there. Absolutely. So there are going to be various areas along this project that would require nighttime work simply because of the volume of traffic and the chaos that would be created. And if you drive that area, say 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, the volume of traffic is a fraction of what it is during the day.
Absolutely.
So we discussed this with other projects as nighttime work, and there were some concerns about it. So he got the number from East Coast Asphalt of $45,000, which may be increased for nighttime work. We'll just have to see how much nighttime work we really have to do. I mean, there's some areas we just simply can't argue about need to be done at night, but others, if it goes along smoothly and they're able to have one-lane traffic, and because it's being done in January, late and early February, maybe the volume of traffic would allow daytime work. So that's why we use the term. I use the term as needed. But I think this is going to be an important part of this potentially painful and contentious, but very, very much needed road milling and resurfacing. Commissioner Coleman had a question. Yes, sir.
Well, I got
Come on up. Come on up so the microphones are right here. Yeah, yeah.
I know this was, I was very in favor of getting Frederica Road resurfaced. Is this gonna go from Kingsway all the way
to Thrive? To Thrive, not quite to Lawrence. And tell us why that is, David.
Because we've already done Lawrence South. There's a construction joint just north of Circle K, which they've done before, about 4 or 5 years ago.
About the Holly Street area, somewhere around there.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, now, we're gonna skip the roundabout. We're gonna go up to the roundabout. We're gonna jump up and get the other side of the roundabout, because doing the roundabout is a whole different kettle of fish as far as traffic control. We're just gonna wait till that asphalt really needs it.
Now,
the other question I had, the intersection improvements here. So the intersection improvements that we're referring to is going to be not the roundabout that we know today at the airport, and then the intersection improvement there at Frederica and Sea Island Causeway. Is that
No intersection improvement at Frederica and Sea Island Causeway. But it's just south of there. Ben, you want to come up and talk about that? It's just south of there, where you take that turn into the Harris Teeter shopping center area. There's kind of a very poor stacking area there, and people don't know which lane to get in, and they get in the one lane, and so we're going to lengthen that stacking lane so you'll be able to be a little bit more defined as to this is the Harris Teeter area, this is the go around, and then this is the right lane to the right to go to Sea Island Road.
It's real rough in there
right there. Now there's 2 oak trees on the side of the road that are going to be casualties of this operation.
So that's one intersection improvement. Ben, why don't you come up here?
Two live oak trees.
We're good. Come on, don't make it any worse than it is. It's already painful. So Ben has worked with David, and I've participated in these work sessions. So Ben, it's going to be, tell us how many lanes there at that intersection by Harris Teeter.
Right. So you're still keeping 2 lanes going north and south, but what you're including in this intersection improvement is actually a left-hand turn lane into the backside of Harris Teeter. There's a few restaurants and things over there in that area. Right now, there isn't a designation of where that lane is, where the through lane going north, where's the turn lane. And so this improvement is really, the bulk of what we're doing is resurfacing with the addition of intersection improvements at Sea Island and Frederica, what we call Sea Island and Frederica, what I just mentioned, the backside of Harris Teeter. You've got Wimberley, we've got some more drainage improvements there, and turn lane increased, and as well as Riverview. Those are some improvements we're doing there.
So the other significant thing at Wimberley is through this operation and the expansion at Wimberley, we're going to be able to put in a sidewalk on the west side of the road to capture, how many, 4 or 5 streets on that side, and safely cross them just south or right there at the community church and have
With
a crosswalk.
There you go, with
right
a designated crosswalk
So the idea
with a
is
flashing
there's
light.
quite a few communities or roads in Reynoso, Wimberley, kind of those areas where if we can collect them all together on a west side sidewalk, they can come down to one point and they go across on one of the narrow parts there of Frederica, right there at the community church.
That's been a complaint, Bob, is that people on the west side have difficulty if they want to get to the sidewalk to jog, ride their bike, stroll their baby, they can't get across safely. So this would be a designated crosswalk with a flashing light to get people across there safely.
At Wimberley?
It's,
I know about where you're talking about,
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit
It's
north
just-
of Wimberley, isn't it?
it's about a couple hundred yards south of the entrance into the community church, where the community church kind of narrows down there.
This isn't going to solve all the problems of Frederica Road, Sea Island Causeway at rush hour and lunchtime, but it's going to be a vast improvement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Yes, sir. Thanks for your work there, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas to y'all.
Merry Christmas. Great job.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Merry
So,
Christmas, Ellen, once
That's,
again. See you
that's it.
soon.
Enjoy your retirement.
Anything we should put on the
Good luck on them trees.
off
Don't
the
get shot.
consent
Watch
agenda?
back.
I don't see anything.
Anything? Okay.
Nothing glaring to
Motion
me.
to adjourn.
Yes,
Merry
sir.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
And I think,
Have a safe